So if we look at the data quality rule,
And it's the incorrect values. Yeah, execute that.
so Jason had brought this to my attention earlier, and when you run it, it shows this 2091 incorrect calculated field values. And if you view it, it's going to show that what is being held in the database is 54 and the calculated value should be 55.
But when you go to the record, it is actually 55.
Right.
They're all still correct. So I don't know how it's
right. So, yeah, let me explain that because that's a good question. That's why I just as soon show it here. So I'm going to open this again off to the side here. So let's look at, again, this is age in record 2, which I assume is in the demographics. So
up right there.
So it's showing 55 and it should be 55.
Yeah.
And so you're like,
why is it querying?
Yeah, wait a minute. Where is it 54? So the answer to that is there is a disconnect to a point between what you see when you open up an instrument and look at a calculated field versus what is being held in the database currently. So when you change an equation for a calculated field, because these are web forms, the only way that that equation has an opportunity to run again and recalculate the value is if you open it and save it. Once you do that and save it, then the value will stay 55. So if right now I save and stay, and this is now 55. Okay, and I close this and then I refresh it. It should say 2090, right? Because I just fixed one. And if I view it, record number 2 is not going to show up because we fixed it. But you don't want to have to open 2,000 some instruments and save them because the calculated value is wrong. So to fix that, you fix all the calculations now, and it will update all of those calculations for you. You can choose to exclude things wherever you want, but when you open it, it will show the correct value because when you open it, it is recalculating what the value should be. So it will show blank for record 4 for whatever reason, or 81 for the age here because the calculation has changed. But in the database right now, we're holding 80. If I were to do a report and look at what the age value is for this, it would show 80 and not 81. So you have to run this to update this. And anytime you change a calculation, you have to come into this. And this is again in the data quality area, rule number H, where you fix incorrect values for calculated fields. I'm sorry, Jason, were you about to say something?
But you're saying that calculated equation was changed at some point, that's why it's recognizing a difference, or what? Because
Yes.
all right, because like I said, I was gone for a couple of years or whatever, came back, but I don't know if anybody changed, the equation, because it
So
was set at what the design of the program or the project early on. So
yeah, you might want to, I don't know if it's best for me to do this in here, but if I
yeah, I
were
went to the
you, you
log
could
and see.
check the log and see, look for that field or whatever and see
Yeah,
if anybody made that change.
yeah, I didn't
But
see anything either. But
clearly it's showing you that for some, whatever reason, the value that's being held is incorrect.
okay. So then back to the meld score one where it's showing the value should be double quotes. So I don't know why. Does that mean it should be blank is what you said, or?
It should be blank, yes.
But if it has a value though, yeah, I don't know.
Well, if so, the calculation for that particular value is comprised of a couple different fields. If a field was changed, and so now when you calculate it, it's blank.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, I would go look at record 4 and see
Yeah.
what goes into calculating the meld score,
That's,
and it would be useful. You can see that it's holding 8, but it should be blank, and you'd be able to see why. Vern, did you have something to add?
Yeah,
is
I
there a
just
way to
wanted
see that
to,
calculated field though, or the calculation?
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Can we go to the design for that field, and it should show you what the equation actually is at this point?
Sure.
And
Yeah, I'll do that. Vern, did you have something?
yeah, for age, it's probably because they use today for the age calculations. And if you use today, then as soon as that person's age changes, because today is another day, you're a day farther, then those are all going to be invalid.
Absolutely correct.
So that's what I
Excellent
said.
point. Excellent point. And that's probably exactly what's happened.
Particularly with the ages. Now, the MELD score may include the age, and therefore it would be invalid as well. How do you calculate a MELD score? I forget.
Yeah, it was.
I've done them before, but it was a long time ago with Archita, in fact.
Yeah. So that's why I said nobody's changed the field when we created the project, or I don't know, but
Which form
You
is
know
it
where
on?
that
go
MELD-
into the cirrhosis labs, I believe. And then should be down towards the bottom. Yeah. G the equation.
So serum creatinine, bilirubin.
INR.
Yeah. So
And the calculation is above, right? What's
yeah,
said in the,
so that was record
4.
4. So four and cirrhosis labs. And the INR is NA, so the calculation can't be completed.
but it's showing that it was 8 at some point. Is that
Yes.
how I saw that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did it get calculated with 8?
Must have been an INR at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm saying if this was put in here as a value of not applicable, there's no way somebody can put an 8 in there, or should calculate an 8, right?
Well,
You
if
can,
somebody
you can
put
look
it,
into history, Terry.
yeah. Good call. I need some music here. While we're waiting, and we would expect to see in the history 2 rows, one with the original INR and second, well, originally it was NA. So there's been no changes in that.
That's what I was, yeah.
So I'm wondering about uh,
916.
so interestingly, this person made a change to it last year.
Okay.
So it's showing us that the data quality rule is correct. It's holding 8 because somebody put that in for some reason. But, you know, I don't know if they tried to bypass the equation. I don't know how they got 8 in there since the INR has not changed. But the reality is 8 is in there and we can see who put it in,
Right.
whoever that person is. So does that answer your question?
Okay. I'll have to, weed through it a little bit more and go from there. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we have some more people that have joined. I just want to make sure again. Do any of you have any questions relating to your project so that we can help you out, provide any support for your project, which is our primary reason for being here. And if you have any questions, let me know. Go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you don't, and do you have anything more, Jason?
Just a question back to the date age thing. So I'd have to remove the today as being part of the equation is what I gather, correct?
Yeah, so I think I still have your project up. I think. Yeah, I do. So what your age, let's see what your equation is for the age.
Demographics.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would want to use capture some kind of like the consent date, maybe. Oh, no. Yeah. Consent date against date of birth instead of today versus date of birth. That way you'd have something accurate based on, you know, what their age was on consent. Usually I'll put some kind of field in here that will just auto-populate with a date, and then, you know, you can do your calculated field off of that. But if you look at the there
So
is.
Do you want them to be the age when they fill
Age
that out?
currently, her age.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could just create a field called today's date and just put today in it and then reference that in your age variable, since you're getting the value from. I'm wondering if that'll work or if it'll just kind of trigger that again, you know, like it'll be another level. But if it's always referencing today and it's updating, that might not get around that.
If you want it to reference today, well, then this is fine because their age has changed. But if you want to know their age at a point in time, then that field has to be populated with a date.
Yeah.
Using the today is dynamic. Using a field, even if it's today as the default, is static, because it's going to hold that date when it was populated. So if I did something today, tomorrow, the same date of today would show up in there. But in the equation, today is dynamic, and it's going to be different because that equation, when it runs, which it will do when you open up the form, it will then be updated. And when you used the data quality rule, it's going to try to run all those equations, and it's going to use today So it's going to want to update them. So maybe you want to exclude
Today.
that, you know, and you want to see whenever you open up the demographics, how old they are today. I don't know. That would be based on the, you know, specific project.